A deep dive on the midterm results this morning. Javier Oliva is here. He's a senior lecturer of political science and legal studies at UTSA. First off, Mr. Oliva, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning.
So, all right, let's start closer to home with the statewide races. I got to be honest with you. I can't believe the midterm was on Tuesday. That seems so far ago. But let's talk about any surprises on any statewide races or big takeaways for you.
Well, I think for Texas, there was not really any surprises. Most of the elected officials that ran statewide were elected Republican, which has been the case for many years now. I think what's the most surprising message from this election is those candidates that were supported by Donald Trump in this midterm didn't fare as well. And if this was Donald Trump's basically jumping off point to run for president again, I think the Americans sent a clear message that they don't want divisive, polarizing politics going forward in America. We need politicians that are statesmen, that are going to work hard to bring compromise for the betterment of the American people. And that's, I think, the message that we're hearing in a lot of these elections where we're going back to the old extreme, we're going to win at all costs politics.
So it seems by listening to you there, it seems like former President Trump really didn't help in terms of the Republicans for this midterm.
Well, obviously, we know that the country's divided in two positions of blue and red. But I think the Trump bandwagon play is starting to really wear down. And I think most voters, independents, and even moderate Republicans are looking for an alternative in 2024.
I think no surprise here, but I think it's always important. And if you can kind of give us some insight into this, we know like big cities, including San Antonio, Bexar County, relatively go blue, right, on the left side. But it is those rural areas that play a huge part, especially here in Texas, as they go red. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that and what we saw on Tuesday?
Well, metropolitan areas are places where people really depend on government services. They're cities that provide services, from healthcare, social services, many things that people are dependent on. And government plays an important role in providing those services. People have to come to the city to get services. While as in the country, many times you're farther away from government services, and so you have to do it yourself. And that do-it-yourself attitude kind of is pervasive in Texas in the rural areas. One other surprise I would say is Beto O'Rourke's wide margin of the loss to Abbott. I think if there was a year that there was reasons to vote for an alternative, this might have been it, with everything that had happened in Texas in the last 2 years in Greg Abbott's administration. But the values that Texans have in the rural communities that represent a vast majority of the counties in Texas, is a strong work ethic, opportunity, reliant on energy, reliant on just their cattle ranching business. And I'm not really sure that Beto was able to extend his values to share with people in the rural communities. So unless he gets more people moving into the state that have shared his vision, Texas will probably remain red for many months. Beto won 16 counties this year.
Yes. Mr. Oliva, we appreciate your time and your insight. Listen, politics, we could talk all morning long, always interesting. But Mr. Oliva with UTSA, thank you so much for waking up with us on this Sunday.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks. You as well.